season 3 of Adulteen. I am your host, Zoe Trask, and this is episode 3, y'all. Now, this one is a little different. We're really going to get into it, so stay tuned. This episode is about elitism and the intersectionality between race, class, and society. Now, you know what we got to do before we start? I got to introduce my guests. So let's start on the left, and we'll bring it to the right. So just tell them your name, your major, your age, fun fact, where you're from. Go ahead.
Hi everyone, I'm Nehemiah Strawberry. I'm a freshman, 19 years old, and I'm from the DMV area, the 301. Fun fact about me, I love to play tennis.
Okay.
Hey everybody, I'm Kaleb Clark. I'm 20 years old. I'm a chemistry pre-major from Jackson, Mississippi. Fun fact about me, I used to play an instrument.
What instrument?
I used to play the trumpet and the mellophone.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Kennedy Wells. I'm 19 years old. I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana, and I am a sophomore mass communication major. A fun fact about me, I used to do ballet.
Hello, my name is Philip. I'm from Chicago, the best city. I'm 19. I'm a mass comm major, and fun fact about me, I played piano for 8 years.
Wow. We got some musicians in the building. Okay, I love to see it, y'all. So look, when we think about elitism, we think about rich folks. We think about poor folks. We think about, I guess, how do we move in society when we think about income, especially as Black people. So I gotta ask y'all. I know that we're Gen Z, so you know what that means. We gotta talk about social media. So how do y'all think social media influences the Black youth in America, especially when it comes to elitism? Anybody can start.
I say social media has put us in an era of comparison. So nowadays you can be 20 years old with a job, a decent job, but you think you're not on the right path because it's another 20-year-old who's balling, and you know who's like an NBA player or something. He's 20, or you would just think that you're not on the right track, but really you're doing good. You're just in your own path.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, to piggyback over what you said, I feel like everything now is almost in a way, it's like kind of everything is like put in our face. So everybody's journey and everybody's path is different, but because somebody else's journey is going quicker than yours or put in their face, it's like, okay, I'm moving too slow, I'm not doing enough. You know, I need to have this much money by this age, this much, you know, a house now, a car now, and really it's like we don't really need to have all that.
I also think that like social media has given us this obsession with like the grind because of the oversaturation of people your age at different levels. So now if you're not grinding, if you're not working 24/7, if you're not constantly pushing yourself to the point of exhaustion, then it's like you're not doing enough.
I definitely agree. Like the whole chasing a bag thing, like all these side hustles when really, you know, you can stick with one career and be successful. But I also think that social media can be used for positivity in a sense where you can see the different arrays of how to make money. And like they talk about cryptocurrency. I don't get into that. Like Bitcoin, whatever that is.
Right.
But it just talks about social media makes Black youth, especially who are only forced to go into like a well-paying college requiring job. Social media can also tell them that you can go to trade school, you can become a plumber, because my older brother, my parents pushed college on him, but he decided to go to trade school, but he's making more money than most of my other cousins who are in college right now. But social media can be used for both positive and negative.
I definitely agree. I feel like social media has opened up a lot of possibilities when it comes to, you know, earning an income. But, you know, you kind of made me think about, if y'all remember the era about the entrepreneurship and the male empowerment brunches and business, whatever it is that they do. At least I heard that they were pyramid schemes. But I mean, and it's crazy because a lot of them are Black people. So I mean, what do y'all think about that? Like,
honestly, I do think that Forex did have our community in the chokehold. Like, it was really bad. And I feel like it was really, a lot of it I do think it was a pyramid scheme because why am I paying you money to get into this group chat, get into this, and then you supposedly gonna teach me how to do this, and then it's gonna take me months and months and months to learn how to make this money.
Right.
And what do I get from it? Like a Instagram post saying I reach P100 or something like that?
Hey, no, you get a nice suit, and then you get a nice social media post, and
You get a brunch.
right, you get a brunch.
Yeah.
You get a brunch. But can you explain what Forex is for people who don't know what that is?
It's like a foreign exchange thing where I guess it's some sort of like it's almost like stocks, like trading stocks and stuff like that, but it's like with different exchange markets around the country and around the world. So that's really what a lot of people were doing. It hasn't been like they kind of really fell off the map, but in past years they were really heavy on it on social media.
And it has something to do with like Bitcoin and
Yeah.
cryptocurrency.
That's not for me.
No,
I don't know what that is.
I never could get behind that.
Yeah, no.
But I also want to think about because you also reminded me about y'all both did about the pressure to feel like we have to chase that bag. So I mean, when we think about the term, I gotta make it out the hood. How do y'all interpret that? Like, have y'all experienced something like that? Do you take it to heart?
Well, I'll start. Like I said before, I'm from Chicago. I know what comes with that. I grew up in the bad part, quote unquote. I'm not into that, but I was in that, so I know what that goes with. And making it out the hood is such a cliche term. Like, I mean, you're not in the hood by choice. You know what I mean? And when it comes out with the pressure, my parents did a good job of blocking me out from all that stuff. And so when it comes to pressure, I feel like I had the pressure to be perfect just because my support system was perfect, in my opinion. And so when it came to blocking me out of all that stuff, it was stuff that was like happening right across the street. You know, my mom's car got shot up a few weeks ago.
Oh wow.
So, you know, things like that happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, the pressure, it's a lot of pressure on me, in my opinion.
That's real. I mean, conversely to what Phil said, I guess I'm like the exact opposite. My mom is a doctor. She graduated from Yale University. Okay. My dad is a lawyer. He graduated from Xavier. So I feel like there was this pressure in a different sense to where I had to reach what they did and like go further and stuff. But it was never that type of pressure to like make it out the hood. Like I've never experienced that. It's just more pressure to be what my parents were or more.
How do y'all feel?
I feel like in a way I was kind of in between like the two of y'all because I didn't grow up in a bad area. I grew up in a decent area, but my parents have always pushed me to be like, do more than we did. And not necessarily, and when it's like the term like make it out the hood, I feel like for me, I didn't experience that, but it was make it to a place where there's better opportunities. Not necessarily make it out of the hood, but make it to where it's somewhere better to where you can do more than what we did raising you.
I would say that I'm kind of like in your boat where I just don't relate. And I would never ever say that I'm going to make it out the hood because I'm not from the hood.
Yeah.
I am from the suburbs, but I could probably, that could relate to my parents. So, my father's from East Baltimore, and he grew up with a single mother. He could say that he made out the hood because he's an engineer now. My mother, she can't say it because she's not black, but she made it from immigrating from the Philippines with only $10 in her back pocket.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And she's a pharmacist now. But I'm gonna say make it out the hood. I've been hearing that I come up from a very affluent black community, and I hear some little black kids say it. I've been growing up. They say, "Oh, I'm from the hood." When their parents are all doctors, they live in a $500,000 home, and I hear them say, and they just look stupid. So I just but when someone can say that they made it out the hood, you can respect them for that, obviously.
If I could piggyback on what you said. In the black community, there's this big obsession with struggle, and it's. I think it boils down to a respect thing. You feel like you get more respect. All these athletes that you see came Like, for example, LeBron James, like he didn't have that much growing up. Like a lot of these, not just athletes, but like a lot of these famous people grew up. And I think like people see that as, oh, if I can make it out the hood, I'll get more respect. Or
But then it goes to, let's say you make it out of the hood and then you get a really, nice income and then you don't give back to your community that you're from. What does that say about, your character, especially when it comes to black representation? I mean,
so in that case, when you don't give back, I don't want to say that it's an obligation to give back, only because now that you're gone from that, you don't know what that is now. But I mean, it could be good to give back, but you also could not know what you're giving back for. Like you can always give someone something and they use it for the wrong thing.
That's true. That is true.
So, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I do kind of feel like giving back. I don't know. I kind of do feel like giving back is really important, just because of the simple fact that, like, okay, you know what that's like. So if you can help and you can like maintain the resources and provide the resources, why would you want somebody else to continue to live that way? But I mean, again, it is your money. You can do things that you want with it, but I feel like it should be something like in the back of your head, like, okay, maybe I should, get this money back here, contribute to this here. But
I mean, should it be an obligation?
To the ones, not an obligation, but to the ones that deserve it. Like, say I grew up on a neighborhood and I go out and I get some money. I'm not just coming back and giving people in the neighborhood money. Maybe in a different way, like I can help the local park or something like that. Not just direct cash that I'm handing out. You know what I mean? Like everything isn't always about money, but it's just giving back care and effort. That's what I feel is most important.
That's true.
I will say that giving back can it can have different forms. So I know LeBron will always say he's from Akron, Ohio. It's not just about physically giving back. You can mention them, talk about your community, where you're from. I know a lot of rappers, when they make it big, they'll reflect on what community they're from. And it's not just about giving them money, signing this big fat check with the comedically large checks. Those are funny. I want one of those.
Yeah.
But it's not just about that. It's just mentioning them, putting it on the map.
Yeah. It also makes me think about, I guess, about those who grow up in those poor communities or, in those more wealthier communities. Do y'all, how do y'all handle the stereotypes when it comes to that, especially, with the areas that y'all are from?
I feel like I just embrace it. That's the only thing you can do.
What is a stereotype about?
For me, what people say about me is I'm a white girl. You talk a certain way, or because I'm living in a gated community and stuff like that. Which I mean, it's fine. Outside looking in, that's okay. If that's how you see me, fine, whatever. But I mean, it's all a part of me, so I kind of just embrace it. Just that's me, and that's cool.
What about you, Phil? Because I know, at least from a Southerner's perspective, we look at Chicago people like y'all are some criminals, ready to shoot at every moment.
Yeah,
hands up on shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, one of the biggest ones is that we're assholes, and that we always look mean. When it comes to back home, I would say that people back home talk a certain way to each other, so it doesn't try to come off mean. That's just how we communicate. But when we go into a different environment like here, I'm not gonna talk to you how I would talk to somebody from back home. Me and my sister, we talk about each other all day, and that's just how we communicate. That's just our love language,
right?
Or whatever. So,
right. Because you go to a old Southern woman, she's not gonna take that.
Yeah, and I would say Chicago people are very respectful. We just choose when to be respectful and disrespectful.
Just if you get it, you get it.
Yeah. For sure.
I mean, what about you? You're from the DMV, so what are the stereotypes that you've encountered?
Okay, so when I tell people I'm from the DMV, it's a lot. Oh, that's where the uppity Negroes are from.
Ooh.
Uncle Tom Negroes.
Handkerchief head. That's what.
Yeah. And like that was I met someone like my first at Welcome Week. That's one of the labels they had put on me and my friends that we're uppity, and we are uppity. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like, and then like that's probably the difference between people from the DMV and people from Chicago. Like y'all can change, but like change like how you talk to people. But, like we came down here with like authentically us, and we had to learn over the first semester that we can't say some things that we've been saying in the DMV. We can't say that here. We had to change our mindset because like obviously we grew up where like it's so normal to see black people succeed, and like I know one of the things that my friend has said was like, oh, if my parents can make it out the hood, your parents can too, or you can too. So that's like some of the things where we would be seen as uppity, bougie, classist.
So do you kind of feel like you may be a little, blind to some of the issues that,
most definitely.
Some families would experience if they have, a lower income?
Mm-hmm. And that's something I had to learn over my course of being here. Mm-hmm.
So do you think that they would consider you uppity because of your family's income or because of the way that you carry yourself?
I think it would be the way that we carry ourselves. So like using terms like ghetto when we can't relate to that at all. Using terms like low class, ratchet, where we can't relate to it at all. And it's just like, it's like the outside looking in, where we grew up with parents who thrive really hard, try to make themselves better, and we lived a privileged lifestyle. Like we were born with a silver spoon in our mouths, and just like seeing other people who didn't like experience that, and it's just like we say whatever we want to say when we first came here, and we had to learn, and we've definitely gotten much better. Even though, actually no, because today my friend my friends group, they were always on this DMV rant. Oh, DMV people, y'all so uppity, yada yada yada. But we've been trying our best to.
I mean, that's good.
Stop.
I mean, what you think?
Speaking from Mississippi, I feel like everybody, like, not even just like people up north or people, like even people in the South, like they still think Mississippi is like literally segregated. Like, oh God, like I literally heard that probably like last week. They was like, y'all know y'all free, right? What you mean y'all know we free? Like, yeah, we know we free, but I feel like it's just because of the lack of opportunities and the fact that when you see Mississippi in the news, a lot of times they do go straight to Jackson, and when they go straight to Jackson does have a lot of issues, but I feel like it's a lot of issues stemming from the government. Like Jackson's money is really mismanaged, and the thing about it is really a lot of racism because Jackson is one of the highest black cities per capita in the United States. So a lot of issues we've been having is like with the water crisis and stuff like that, where people don't have water for like weeks at a time, not clean water. But the governor's mansion is in downtown Jackson. He good. So
the local government.
Yeah, the local government is bad. I feel like they just think that we poor out there.
I think that maybe because I got some of my family are from Mississippi, and I feel like maybe it's just a situation where y'all are just kind of victim of the system.
Yeah.
And it's like stemming from slavery, and over time it's like all you can do is try to survive. So do you feel like people are still on that mentality now in Jackson? Like that's all they can do is just survive.
In a way, yes, because I feel like, of course, you have to play the cards that are dealt, but if the cards you keep getting dealt are bad, there's not really anything you can do about it. Like, it starts, yes, you can do things to help, but if your local government is not helping you, the state government is not helping you either, I mean, it's like, what else can you really do? Because you really can't take matters into your own hands, because even when you do, the protests are not working clearly. So, I mean, it's like people are in survival mode all the time.
I feel like, kind of like what you guys said, and back to the Forex thing, I feel like when it comes to like low income black communities and like this new like social media and the oversaturation of like these new opportunities and all that, I feel like a lot of people that are low income, they turn to these like pyramid schemes like Forex and all that because of lack of financial education and lack of like knowing that there's, or seeing like successful black people, like you said, like in your area, seeing that there's opportunity and seeing that you can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer. So they turn to these like Forex, which is like, what even is that? Because they really don't know what, you know.
Get rich scheme.
Get rich quick scheme.
Yeah, that's all they've seen.
And that's like, oh, I can definitely do that because I've seen somebody like who I know get rich from that.
Rich.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like, because it's crazy because coming from somebody who is, you know, from Louisiana, and I have ties in Dallas and, you know, the South basically. And it's funny because, like, even from us, like, we be talking and be like, oh yeah, you know, they from Mississippi, they, you know, they slow, you know. But here we are fighting. What are we at, the number 45, number 44, the worst literacy rates in America, and here we are beefing over that, and we're black. I mean, like, what does that mean? Like, what is that? How does, like, what's up with that? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really understand that either. I mean, that's, I don't know, like some of that, I feel like some of the literacy issues, I'm not gonna say it can start at home because it can, but it can't. Like sometimes you do need to have efficient like schooling systems to where, you know, like up north. And I really think it does stem from a lot of like the political side of it because there are like standardized testing. I feel like that does really affect a lot, especially in public schools, because public schools are obviously not getting the funding that they need to. So the resources are not being put back into the public schools, which is where most children are. So of course your literacy rate's gonna be low as hell.
I feel like it just stems from, it really had to have stemmed from Jim Crow.
Yeah.
And, you know, putting these black people in these systems where they are forced to, you know, get the worst possible education. And here we are, you know, I feel like we're not able to really unlock our potential as black individuals. And you know what, that kind of makes me think about this. Another topic is that, I guess, do you feel like some low income black people are jealous of you because you are privileged? Don't get cocky, but
Yes.
oh,
You want me to be 100% honest?
Like, be honest. Like, what do you think?
Well, you know how like when it's like when one family member gets out the hood, and then so my father. So when we would go back to Baltimore, which is not often, like my cousins would get jealous of me. Like, oh, he got the new shoes. Oh, look at his iPhone. I got a Motorola. Things like that. Of course, I would never say this out loud, but like, I had a really good friend who I met, and like, I would say some of the darndest things that I had to check myself on. And he wasn't even from a low-income house, so I don't even know why he was so mad. But jealousy, kinda, I do feel like there's something there. Please don't cancel me.
Experience that? Do you feel like? You know, some lower income black people have, you know,
Jealous of me? I guess not. Like, I've never experienced that. Like, even though I grew up in, you know, upper middle class family or whatever, I still did things like I went to church, and you know, at church when you have like a lot of black people in one place, you know, we're all from different stations in life, and the lower income people in my church, like, we would never have anything, like, we would all get along really well. Like, I feel like that also, you have to have a sense of humility on your part to where you're not like coming off as rich and uppity or whatever. You have to be able to like relate to people. So I feel like I've never had the problem of someone being jealous of me, or maybe they were and I didn't know, but I've never experienced that.
I feel like that's like the disconnect between like southern affluent black families and then northern people. They're not humble at all. Like, we are very prideful. Like, we take pride in a lot of things, and that's something that is just crazy because like from the Great Migration, that's where all the black families were moving up north.
Right.
And a lot of our families are still like down in North Carolina. A lot of people from the DMV, their family are from North Carolina. So then, like, I feel like Southern people are just respectful 100% of the times. That was my biggest culture shock when I came down here, was like the respecting, like, this was my first time in the South. Like, I don't know if y'all consider Florida the South, but Florida, like Miami, Miami, okay, but like
It's the South, yeah.
but those South people are different from like the deep South, where like y'all are just so humble, so peachy, so cheerful, and that's the disconnect between Northern Black people and Southern Black people.
On that endpoint, I would definitely say that that's the biggest culture shock, because like I'll be walking down the street and like somebody say, "Hey, how you doing?" and like where I'm like, I'll be like, "Who is he talking to?" Like he's not talking to me. Or like you'll be in a restaurant and they'll be like, "Hey, baby," and then be like, "You like 40?" So
it's culture.
That confused me at
And
first.
it's like when they stare and smile at you, but you like but it's just them saying like you look good today or something like that. So I had to learn. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I feel like that can be awkward sometimes. You just trying to pick up your food and then like it's just somebody like waiting for you to say hello back to them. I mean, and it come across as awkward, sometimes, but sometimes we don't be meaning to, once you get used to it, you're used to it. Like now it's like automatic replies like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "How you doing?" Yeah. Like, "I'm doing good. How about you?" "Good." "All right." "All right. Have a good night." Stuff like that. Especially with Mr. Smith.
Yeah.
I love him.
Y'all don't know who Mr. Smith is. He's a janitor. And he's well known around the school, and it's his hospitality that really pulls the school together, despite where we come from. And I think that I really enjoy that part of the HBCU experience, I guess. But
another cultural difference is like people from down south compliment a lot, and so I don't really know if people notice, but people from Chicago do not give compliments. Like something will be really nice, and they'll just be like, "Oh, that's decent." Like I swear, like you would, but it's not really hating because that's just the way we compliment, and it'll just be like food would be really good, and it'll be like, "Oh, it's decent," and then people be like, "It's decent," like yeah. I don't know.
I think I have seen that before. This one guy on TikTok does like food reviews, and I think he's from DMV because he be having Google Music or whatever. And he'd be like, "You know what I'm talking about?"
No.
Oh. But he'll rate the food, and then he'll rate it good would be 2 stars, but then decent would be 4 stars, and I'm like, okay, so I guess that holds more weight, decent or something.
Yeah, I never heard
that's news to me.
That's new.
That's really how it is.
I'm gonna start saying that. It's decent.
People are very prideful and they don't want to give. I don't know. It's really bad. It's not a good stereotype. It's really bad.
It's giving hater.
They're very prideful, so they don't want to give somebody too much. So they'll be like, "Yeah, it's decent."
Wow.
Dang.
I swear, I'm not even. That's just how it is.
Okay. All right. I mean,
learn something new every day.
To each his own, as they say. But speaking of comparisons and jealousy, right now when it comes to HBCU culture and when it comes to fashion, they're like drip or drown, basically. So I mean, remember when there was the trend not too long ago, like the Telfar Tuesdays? How do we feel about that? If you got a Telfar, you good. If you don't, you broke. What does that mean? I think Telfar Tuesday is
a good idea in theory. Especially because I got Telfars, I want to wear it, I want to wear my Telfar. But then when you think about the amount of people who probably cannot afford this tote bag, it's kind of like, oh, well, what kind of situation are you putting them in? But then also there's the flip side where it's okay, you can't afford a Telfar and I'm sorry, but I need to wear my Telfar on Telfar Tuesday. I feel like that's kind of, I don't think about the people who can't afford one whenever I'm just wearing mine, but that's just because I'm just wearing my Telfar. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, that's actually kind of whoa, Telfar Tuesday is kind of a show of elitism and classism because not everybody can afford this tote bag, which by the way, Telfar, it's okay, it's cute and all, but it's not a need.
Crazy about it is that the Telfar, the owner of the brand, specifically made the bags to be affordable, and then here we are showing it off in an elitist way.
Yeah,
it's what's up with that? I actually just just bought one. I just bought one, but I saved up for it. But literally, I was just thinking that, wow, like, now I'm about to have one. And, you know, I'm going to finally get it, and it's going to be like, oh, like I feel like I was so caught up in the fantasy or excitement and have one, and I feel like as soon as I get it, I'll be like, yeah, it's just...
Is your first so far?
My very first. Ooh. How many you have?
I have 4. But I have 2. I have 2 medium, 2 small.
Dang.
But yeah, no, and it's like I don't even realize that like some people have not gotten so far before because I just be happy. Like, you know, not in like I just be having them type of way. Like no, but like
I like to have a type like that.
But that's good though. Slay.
Wow, look at me.
Oh my god.
I'm making it out the hood, y'all.
What color did you get?
I got royal blue. I got my royal blue. You know. But I mean, besides bags, we know for ages it's always been Jordans.
Yeah.
That's been the debate. Like, at least from what I know, what I heard from my people, they say that mids is low. They said either it's gonna be high or low. And some of them don't even mess with lows. I mean, what y'all think?
I ain't heard that.
I know you got
Either.
I ain't heard that ain't mess with lows. Well, it depends. No, it like, okay, if it's like regular Nikes, then a lot of people don't fuck with it. But if it's dunks, they'll be alright. Like, that's mainly what the dunks are. They be lows. But I do feel like the Jordan shit, that's been going on for a minute. Like, that's been going down since like middle school. Like, if you came to school with a pair of mids on or some flights, they was like, no. You gotta put them back. Like, especially the flights, they was like, no, you can't wear them. Because they would be like, oh, these not even real Jordans. But, yeah, so, I don't know. But I do feel like it kind of, I don't know. I'm not going to say it's like peer pressure, but it's like, okay, if you come to school, you know, you got to have that shit on. Like, you got to have this, you got to have that. But I feel like that's just kind of us as a community sometimes. Like, that's just how we are. Like, that's just, we do flashy things sometimes. Just to like, okay, we look nice. Like, we keep ourselves put together and stuff. But I feel like the whole debate about the Jordan thing, I mean, I feel like it's not that serious. If you like the shit, wear it.
I don't know, I'm not gonna lie, we used to really clown them kids in school if they came and they had the Jordan logo and the Jordan was doing a split. We were clowning them for that. And it's like, you know, now I look back and like, ooh, what's wrong for that? But boy, was you looking funny, you know what I'm saying? Like, or like if y'all saw that Atlanta episode with the boy, he came to school with the fake FUBU on, like.
Wait, fake FUBU?
Yeah.
I thought FUBU was already the fake.
I don't even know the
You know, that's what they used to wear back in the day, but you know, that's where it comes from. I guess it starts from the home.
FUBU is supposed to be like
yeah, explain FUBU.
It's like, I ain't gonna say it's off brand, but it's like they say it's like really cheap and it's like not nothing that nobody wants.
It's a brand.
Yeah, it's a brand. Well, no, is it a brand?
It used to be a brand. I think it fell off.
It's a clothing brand.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's a clothing brand, but it's like the shit that don't nobody want to wear, basically. The shit that don't nobody want to wear.
It had a moment.
Like putting it in real terms, the shit that don't nobody want to wear.
But you know what? I feel like, you know, we've seen these patterns of elitism and we've seen them over these years, and it starts in the home. But I wanted to ask you because you told me that you were involved in the Jack and Jill organization, and that like how young do you start or do you join?
Well, chapter started maybe when I was in late elementary, early middle school, maybe, if I'm thinking correctly. Yeah.
And what exactly is the organization? Jack and Jill, they made
a little elevator speech, y'all. So like when you're on the elevator with somebody and they ask you what Jack and Jill is, I don't remember it now, but it's basically an organization for Black families to come together and learn things like financial literacy, you know, learn about college and higher education, you know, just get together and learn those things in a safe environment with people who are familiar to you. Yeah.
Do you feel like those organizations like that are elitist or?
Oh yeah, I definitely do. Because I'm in Jack and Jill, I'm learning about financial literacy. We went to Cuba. Like, there are these, like, special, like, Jack and Jill trips. We're going to Greece this summer. Like, Jack and Jill is, like, it's levels to this. And, like, if you're not in Jack and Jill, you don't get to do those things. And it's selective, and there's, like, a whole process to get into it, and you got to pay money to stay in it. It's expensive. The conferences, we would have to have matching outfits with everybody. We'd have to do plenary sessions where you were all white, uninterrupted white, as they called it. Uninterrupted white with, like, pantyhose and like, heels, and it's a whole thing.
What you gotta say? You got something to say? What's tea?
It just sounds like you want to be white.
Like, oh,
wait, hold on. Like, okay.
Yikes.
No, like, I could see that, though. Like, I get that. And I feel like that's another thing is, like, black people doing these things to be elite and all this is really just to be in proximity to whiteness.
We associate professionalism with whiteness.
Which, which, I mean, you could say that about Jack and Jill, but you could say that about any other organization. So, I mean, I'm a ride for Jack and Jill, but, like, I see how it is very elitist and how it's very unfair. But we did, like, give back to community. All we did was community.
All the time. Like, definitely, I'll give them that little one. They ate that little one.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
We do community service all the time, and it taught us a lot of very valuable things that I wish these lessons were available to people who were not in it, because that would be very helpful.
And it's not fair because, you know, those that can't afford, you know, to be an organization like Jack and Jill, they miss out on those opportunities. And public school system sucks. And they deserve to
know about it. Like, it's unfair. Like you said, like, they deserve to know how to spend their money. Like, they deserve to know how to save, how to build credit. Like, why can't they learn that?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's real. That's real, because I didn't learn like financial literacy for real until, like, late high school.
Yeah.
Even that.
Really did.
Yeah. Right, and then by then I'm already starting part-time jobs because I gotta save up for when I move to college. You know.
Yeah. That's very true. And I think another thing, like, being an
affluent black person, like, I never had to work. Like, I don't know if you like, I never had to work or do any of that stuff. So I feel like people who aren't, you know, like, rich or whatever, they have to work, they have to take time away from school, time away from, you know, extracurriculars, just so they can make it and get by. Whereas
it's crazy.
It's crazy.
I have friends who have, like, their friends and their little siblings started working when they were, like, 13 years old. Yeah. And had to, like, their parents were counting on them to help make up bills. Like,
I can't imagine that. I can't even imagine doing that. Like, I got a job one summer at Nothing Bundt Cakes. And my mom was like, why are you getting a job? Like, what are you getting a job for? And I was like, well, I kind of just want to, like, I want to get a job. Everybody has a job. Like, I want to see what it's about. Wow. And she's like, I mean, you don't need to, but I mean, okay. Like, whatever floats your boat. So it's like, I've never needed to do that. I could always stay at home and, like, do ballet, because I did ballet. Learn those things that also white people consider, like, cultured. You know, like, you learn ballet, acceptable, like, classical music, stuff like that. Ooh, then it's suddenly, like, it's not dance. Like, that's not respected in the white community. But, like, ballet, like, you know how to do ballet, and it's like, whoa. Yeah.
I mean, what y'all think?
My parents cheap, so I got a job.
Please. That's the reason.
Yeah, so they didn't believe in, like, giving me, like, everything. They say you have to work for it because they worked for it. Yeah. That was their motto. So I work at Chick-fil-A if anyone wants to visit me.
Do what you gotta do. I know they be working y'all hard at Chick-fil-A. For real. And what about you? You had a job?
Yeah, I do.
Where you work at?
I work at Lids, the hat store in the Riverwalk Mall.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right, Liz.
So, like, growing up, money was never like then. Like, we had food all, like, it was never like a struggle or anything. It's just, I would more say, like, the people that was around. But, like, money was never like a struggle. Like, it was never like, what am I eat today? It was never like that. Like, that would just be a straight up lie. I had a roof over my head. The roof was never leaking or nothing like that. Like, it was never nothing crazy. Yeah. But, you know, sometimes when you get older, you just want to do things yourself.
That's real. That's
true.
real. I didn't experience, you know, having to necessarily, I guess, worry about what I'm eating. But we, you know, still had to, you know, I guess, get it out the mud. You know, because all my family is just, you know, single black women. So we really had nobody but ourselves. I'm not going to lie, y'all. lie, we was really in the gutter. Like, I used to have to eat, my auntie used to bring us military MREs, y'all. We used to eat them. Wow. They used to be good too. Should I be the only one? We used to eat them. And then, of course, noodles and, just sandwiches. Or if y'all know that, if you know that meat is ham. It's square meat ham. And inside it's got little cheese blocks.
I'm unfamiliar.
Yeah. No, this is something else. Like, it was a time. It was a time.
What a time to be alive.
A time to be
Yeah.
alive.
I wasn't even allowed to have noodles.
We couldn't have noodles.
Yeah.
Like, my mom was like, "You're not eating this." Yeah.
Not even use the microwave?
Wait, you couldn't use the microwave?
Right.
Oh wow.
What?
Oh no, that microwave used to be overused.
Yeah, right.
So,
Hold on.
And toaster ovens, yeah.
Toaster oven?
But we weren't allowed to eat noodles either.
Slay. Yeah, too much sodium, as she said.
That MSG is gonna kill you.
Yeah. Oh, you get it. No McDonald's, no.
Yeah, no.
No noodles. Like,
We had that organic shit. That organic
see,
food. You didn't do
we
organic?
didn't do that. Like, we weren't organic.
No, we didn't eat Taco Bell. We didn't have organic stuff though. Like, my mom is very Southern. Like, she gonna make you Kool-Aid that's basically diabetic. Like, she can throw down and stuff. She just like, you are not eating noodles.
More people throw down too, but we don't be having time. A lot of time we don't be having time to make it, and we gotta eat what we got, and we working all the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't really.
I don't know. No noodles. Y'all house too strict.
Right. No, it's just noodles though. You can't live without noodles though.
You can, but
They do fast food.
yeah, you was like no McDonald's and all that
Right.
shit. I'm
And
like,
it's tough because when we grew up in the neighborhoods, those environmentally racist neighborhoods, all we had on that street was the McDonald's, was the neighborhood Walmart, if it was there, the gas station, the Circle K, and or Popeyes. Like, that's all we had. And it's funny because they strategically put those in black areas.
yes, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
so you guys weren't allowed to do McDonald's? So you got
Like, it was like when I went over my dad's house, like, things were a little bit more like lenient, and we would have McDonald's. But like at my mother's house, she'd be like, "We're not eating that. Why would you eat that? What? Why would you need to eat McDonald's? We got spaghetti at home. Like, stay with me." Like,
it just wasn't. She didn't like that kind of stuff. Like, it was just unhealthy and sodium and all that. Like,
you guys never heard like the line when you ask for McDonald's and they be like, "We got McDonald's at home." Like,
my mother never said that, but like, we did have McDonald's at home. Like,
Yeah, that's real.
Felt a need for fast food growing
yeah, like
up.
there was no need.
But
for
we
that.
did eat Chipotle. That was some good shit. Chipotle's good.
No.
Chipotle is expensive, but I'm gonna go ahead and end it on that note. Okay, we definitely have different experiences, and I'm so glad that y'all were able to join me on this podcast.
Thank you.
So thank you guys again for tuning in for episode 3 of Adulteen. Stay tuned for more episodes coming up, y'all. Bye.